Algorithms. As cubers, we spend days, sometimes even months, trying to learn these sets of moves that solve different patterns on the cube, endlessly drilling them into our muscle memory. Until finally, that one case you practiced for an hour straight last week shows up in your solve. Finally, my time has come. I will now use the algorithm and solve the cube in one swift motion. And then you decide not to do it and revert back to the slower way of solving the case that you've been doing for the past 5 years. Disappointing, I know. But we've all been there. Hours of learning only to sell ourselves short when the time comes. But what can we do to get around this? Well, today I'll be answering that question by learning one of, if not the most difficult algorithm sets in all of speedcubing. What if I told you that you could solve the entire last layer with only one algorithm? Well, you would learn to do this, right? And then you'd see the number of algorithms to be able to do this, and yeah, I think I'll just stick to PLL. And well, I don't blame you. There are almost 500 algorithms you have to learn to say you know full ZBLO. And while that may seem daunting at first, that number makes this feat seem a lot harder than it actually is. You see, most speedcubers that learn ZBLO only learn some of the cases, not all of them. Even the fastest people that use this alg set only use around 300 or so at most. This is because learning the soon and anti-soon cases is kind of useless, because the base algorithms for them are already so fast. Today I'm going to take it upon my own shoulders to try and learn as many of these algorithms as I can in just 2 hours. And at the end there's going to be a test, so I better start studying. For this 2-hour session, I'm going to be learning arguably the most popular ZBLL subset, the U cases. This subset consists of 72 algorithms, but I probably won't get to most of them in my 2-hour time frame. Because, well, that's impossible. I started my 2 hours by learning the first section of the subset, which narrowed my focus down to just 12 algorithms. In all 12 of these algorithms, the stickers up here are the same color and the stickers on the front are opposites. And it started off surprisingly easy. I was pretty much flying through, learning a new alg every 3 or so minutes. Then I hit a mental block. About 6 algs in, I began to quickly forget the ones I had learned before. I just did this one, how am I forgetting this? You see, learning the algorithms or the moves you have to do to solve the cube isn't hard. The hard part is recognizing the cases and differentiating them from one another. This one started to get mixed up with this one, and my memory became very blurry easily. So this taught me that I'm going to have to go over every case I learned before the one that I was learning at that point in time. This made learning the algs a slower process, but it would prove to be worth it in the end, as at the 45-minute mark I finished all of the first group of the U cases. Yes, let's go. That was 12 down, who knows many to go. For the next 10 minutes, I reviewed all 12 of the algorithms, and once I felt confident with what I had already learned, I moved on to the next set of 12. For this set, the stickers on the top are opposites, and the ones on the front are the same. So, kind of like the exact opposite of what I had just learned. Again, in the beginning these algs were simple, but as more and more of them filled the shelves of the library inside my head, I hit another roadblock. Learning this many algs in one sitting was tiring. Very tiring. But I pushed through because I knew I had to maximize the amount I could say I learned in this short amount of time. For no reason except the short-term ego boost I would get from being able to say I learned full one-look cube in like 15 minutes or something. That's trillions of algs every second, so dumb comparison, but you get the point. I was already at algorithm number 6 on the 1 hour 15 mark, and I was not planning on stopping, until I once again forgot about half the algorithms I've already learned, and had to do a quick review session to regain my memory. The final 6 algs were the hardest, because learning them was like adding stories upon stories to this already giant skyscraper of algorithms I already knew. But at the 1 hour 55-minute mark, I was finally done with the second set of UZBLO algorithms. And I felt like a genius, because learning ZBLO makes you feel like a genius. So, in the final minutes, I made a sandwich, and ate it. But now is finally time for the test. I learned 24 new algorithms, totaling about 5% of full ZBLO. But I didn't let that bring me down. The time was now to show that I hadn't just wasted 2 hours of my life. Either way, I probably did waste 2 hours of my life, but that's beside the point. So I logged on to the best site ever. No, that's literally what it's called, and that's pretty cool. So I logged on to the best site ever, and selected all 24 ZBLOs I had put to memory. The first 5 I knew, and I was feeling pretty confident in my abilities, until the 6th test arrived, and I blanked. For like 5 seconds until I knew the algorithm and did it. There's some close calls, some wrong recognition of the cases, but on algorithm number 24, I did 8 or 9 U moves, slowly rotating around the cube, trying to recall which case I had. And I got it. After 2 hours of tirelessly going through the largest algorithm set known to man,
Let's go.
I proved to myself that learning all this is, well, possible. But what did I really learn? I mean, maybe the ZBLOs were actually just the friends we made along the way. But actually, I learned that putting algorithms to memory is a lot easier than you think. Next time you memorize an algorithm, take note of the first 4 or so moves. This is what is known as a trigger. For example, in the T-perm, RU, R', U' is the trigger. From there, you memorize the rest of the moves. But what makes recalling these algs easier is using the trigger to start it off, and then finishing with muscle memory. So when I see the blocks on the cube and the corners look like this, I know my first few moves look like this, and then from there on out it's pretty easy. So yeah, maybe learning ZBLL isn't as hard as you thought, or really learning any algorithm set for that matter. If you put in enough time and use the tips I've given you, you'll be able to learn pretty much any algorithm set, even one look cube if you want. Hope you all enjoyed. See you next time. And also you can subscribe for more not so amazing content. And watch this video, because I said so. Trust me, you'll regret it.